is all gone.
One reef is in just because what just happened. It could be a little squally. It's gonna blow from the opposite direction for a week.
We are very stuck.
I'm Aladino. I'm both Swiss and Italian and a boat builder by profession.
And I'm Maya, a Canadian artist and sailor. This is our home, Magic Carpet. She's a Vinda 32, though she's only 28 feet long. And 4 years ago, she fell 20 feet off a crane onto concrete. Insurance wrote her off, but Aladino bought her, fixed her, and now she's our home. Our mission? To sail around the world as slowly as possible. We had heard stories that fall in the Mediterranean can be unpredictable. Squalls, lightning storms, and strong winds can descend upon you very quickly, and with a lot of force. But when we set out from Syracuse to continue our circumnavigation of Sicily, everything seemed perfect. Blue skies, a little bit of wind, and even dolphins to keep us company. With weather like that, it's hard to imagine anything ever going wrong.
We are just rounding the most southern tip of the triangle, which is Sicily. Yeah, haven't made up my mind yet. We're moving at 2 knots, but probably it's going to be the diesel again. Yeah, unfortunately it seems like we missed most of the wind. It was blowing yesterday a little more, but I still think that we should get as far as we can, even under engine, because after that it will be 3 days or more of steady mistral. Well, that means hunkering down somewhere and not making any more progress. So now that we are still more becalmed and have this kind of weather, I think we should get some miles under the keel.
Once we rounded the eastern coast of Sicily, we started traveling west, along the southern edge of Sicily's coastline. We had the sails pulled out on a gentle downwind course, and there were barely any waves. We were traveling at a decent speed, the air was warm, the forecast was good, and so we decided to keep going all night. The wind petered out as the sun went down, so we turned on the engine. But at around 5 in the morning, I woke up. Okay, so this video is obviously filmed after the lightning storm. But what happened on that day is I had the watch until I think about 1 in the morning, and then Aladino took over, and at about 5 in the morning, I woke up to the sound of thunder and lightning. There was lightning flashing through the windows, the thunder was really loud overhead, and we were in the mouth of this pretty sizable bay. So we weren't actually as close to land as we normally were, because we were kind of right in the middle of this bay. And right in front of us, or kind of next to us, was, I guess it was an oil rig. It was like this big skeletal sort of platform just in the middle of the ocean. That was the closest thing to us. Shore was about, or the coastline was about 5 nautical miles away. And it was dark. There was just like the whole horizon was covered in lightning. It felt like we were surrounded by it. And so I went outside, and I remember the first thing I said was something like, well, this looks scary. And Aladino just replied, yeah, it is. So we were trying to figure out what to do, and we decided that we would actually just circle this oil rig, because it was a big metal thing sticking high up, way higher than we were, and we felt like we could get some kind of protection. And I don't know if that was correct or not, but we stuck close by that thing so that we wouldn't be the only tall metal object in the middle of the sea. Not that we were in the middle of the sea, we were only 5 nautical miles away from land, but still that takes an hour to get there. And so we weren't sure, with the lightning that close, like, should we go to land? Should we stay near this thing? So we stayed near this oil rig for a little while. We were just circling it, and it looked like hell. It looked like a version of hell, just this grotesque metal structure in the middle of the darkened sea. lightning surrounding us, and then gusts starting to pick up and rain starting to come as well. So we were out in the cockpit trying to decide what to do, and we decided, let's try and go to shore after a little while of circling this thing. Let's try and go to shore because it seemed like we might be able to get away from the storm. If we did that, then we could anchor near shore. We could go to sleep for a little bit because we were obviously really tired, and then carry on. So that's what we did. We set a course on the autopilot to take us straight to shore. Again, 5 nautical mile trip, about 1 hour. And we went down below because when there's lightning, it's the best thing to just be down below. Don't be around big metal objects like the mast and the rigging. The storm just kept closing in and closing in. It was so dark. I mean, it was dark anyway, but it was starting to kind of get light because it was by this time around 6 a.m. I guess, and the sun was starting to come up. But the clouds on the horizon just kept everything so dark. It was like the most eerie light. And our calculations were wrong. Going to shore did not allow us to escape the storm. We wouldn't have escaped it either, even if we stayed at the oil rig, but the storm passed directly over us. It was the most scared I've ever been on a boat. The sea went from flat calm to just like boiling. The gusts were so strong. The rain was absolutely torrential, hardest rain I've ever experienced. And I mean, I'm from the west coast of Canada. That's saying something. And the lightning was the worst part. It was striking the water. It felt like 20 meters from our boat. It was so scary. I was so sure it was going to hit us. I couldn't imagine a possible situation where it wouldn't hit us. It was so close and so frequent. The thunder was breaking right over top of us. It was so loud. It was like I can't describe how loud it is, how it ripples through your whole body, how it like grabs at your stomach, because it's more than just a sound. It's like a feeling in the air. And it passed right over us. We were inside, absolutely terrified, sure that we would feel whatever a lightning strike is supposed to feel like at any moment, but it passed over us. And we made it to shore and we put down the anchor. And later on, I went to go edit the footage that we had taken on our main camera, and we didn't have any of the footage. Like, it had all, I still don't understand. I tried disc drill, I tried all these recovery methods. I couldn't find the footage. It had just disappeared. So we don't have footage from the main camera. All we have is a little bit of GoPro footage after the storm had already passed and we were heading towards shore. So I will let that play for now, so at least you can see kind of what the aftermath looked like. But yeah, I was pretty gutted when I found out we had lost that footage because it was such a dramatic event. But yeah, we don't have it. So the best you can get is this story and the GoPro footage after, and I'll let that play now.
So the worst of it is all gone. The sky is clearing up a bit. Well, it doesn't seem like it, but comparatively it's cleared up quite a lot. And those terrifying thunderclaps have stopped, kind of. You can still hear them in the distance, but they're not quite so immediate. Yeah, I'm looking forward to anchoring and getting some rest.
By the time we finally made it to shore, the skies were already clearing and the world transitioning back to a peaceful state. We gratefully threw down the anchor and tumbled into bed. When we got up, we sailed off anchor.
And off we go. One reef is in just because you can see the sky and what just happened. It could be a little squally and it would only be more effort for the one steering and for the autopilot. Since we're going beam reach, the Genoa is perfectly taken care of driving the boat. So yeah, I just put a reef in and this works wonderfully so far. So after setting sail under anchor and sailing for a little bit, we tried to come up with some further plans, and basically looking at the map we saw that it is quite far to the harbors that we actually wanted to get to, and there's only one that was 10 nautical miles from us and all the others were 30 or more. And since the weather is staying very, very squally and covered, and yeah, there could be more lightning storms that we don't find all too much fun right now, and also being pretty tired, we decided to head to the closest port, which is Licata. It seems to be a very big city, and I'm just at the harbor entrance now. It is quite an impressive man-made harbor. It has two huge arms. Imagine a symmetric octopus drawing. So there's two huge side arms, all made by rocks, like breakwaters, I guess that's the right term. And once you go in, I think there will be more breakwaters and pontoons and docks. We rely on avionics a lot. We read a lot because you can drop an anchor symbol if you anchored somewhere and leave your opinion. And Maya actually found that a few people anchored inside those breakwaters just in front of the city. So that's what we're going to try. And I think we'll have to steer here for a while, hopefully not too long. We're in not much of a rush, but it still would be nice to get a bit further west where there is more to explore again. But for now it's very squally, and I think Mistral is coming very soon, so we'll stay here, have an eye on things, and get some sleep.
We put down our anchor where the chart indicated and looked at the weather forecast.
So here we are now in the harbor of Licata. Not our favorite kind of break, not the most romantic town for sightseeing, but we'll do all those other things that need to be done, and hopefully there'll be a window soon, which right now is not visible yet. It seems like it's gonna blow from the opposite direction for a week, with covered skies and lightning and thunder, all of that. So yeah, for now we're here.
We stayed on the boat, but the afternoon brought another smaller squall with strong gusts. Alright, so the wind picked up and we actually dragged anchor. And so we just went to go pick the anchor up to move back into position and reset it. And it seems that we're stuck on something. It will not come up.
There's often chains in the harbor.
Yeah, there's probably all sorts of stuff on the bottom.
I really didn't want to go diving here.
Yeah.
I think it's the only option.
Oh, Deanie.
It's okay.
But first we decided to try a few more times to lift the anchor without Deanie having to dive into the harbor. Okay, Deanie's going to loosen the chain. I'm going to drive forward and we're going to try picking it up again, seeing if we can get it out from a different angle. Not ideal, but we're going to give it a go. We are very stuck. Very stuck. What's next, Deanie?
Me going in the water.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just have the engine on and you give me instructions of what you need me to do, okay?
Yeah. Once I've figured out what's going on. I hate this.
Cold?
Ash. Always. Do you think there is a Loch Ness in the harbor?
I don't think there's a Loch Ness, no. Probably just a lot of garbage on the bottom. The only Loch Ness in this harbor is you.
Garbage.
What do you see?
Well, we're wrapped around an arm-thick wire.
An arm-thick wire?
Huh?
Are you going to be able to get it out, do you think?
In the box where we keep our snorkel stuff, there's gloves.
Gloves. Okay, let me try. I I think these are the gloves he wants.
There's only garbage and diesel in this harbor. I can feel it in my throat.
We'll give you a freshwater shower when you get back on.
Alright, next one.
Oh, sorry. Wow, wind is strong.
So luckily it's not very deep, or pretty much more to say that we have pulled the wire up quite a bit already.
Yeah.
But since it's under tension, I will never be able to release. So
you need me to put the boat in forward?
No, you count to 15. Okay?
What?
You count to 15.
Okay.
You start counting, and that gives me time to go down. And when it's 15, you let the chain go.
Okay.
And I try to unhook them.
Okay.
And then you have to go back though to steer the boat, because we'll start drifting.
Okay.
And I will come on the boat and do the chain.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So you count to 15?
Yeah.
Count to 10.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Free?
Pull it up, yeah.
Okay, chain is free. We are now just drifting in the breeze, and I'm trying to pull it up. Aladino's climbing on board. Action, action! Woo! Anchor's up! Woohoo! All right, we're free. Wow, crazy how the wind has picked up. There's no waves in here, fortunately, because the breakwater is protecting us, but the wind is really going for it. We reset the anchor, hoping that would landed it in a better spot this time. Okay, and now I'm gonna set the anchor app that I use. I use Anchor Alarm Pro, I think is what it's called. Anchor Pro. And I'll set this so that an alarm goes off if we start to drag. Once that was done, we hung around the boat for the rest of the day, keeping an eye on things. I've been editing videos all day, so I'm feeling very stiff, ready to move around a little bit. But Aladino and I just came up with a plan, so we are still in Licata. But we are going to go and get a pizza to go, bring it back to the boat. And we're gonna head off tonight, and we're gonna do an overnight sort of passage along the coast to get to the next town where we want to stay. Basically, there's been quite a lot of bad weather. There's been mistral winds pointing in the exact opposite direction of where we want them to point. There's been a lot of thunderstorms, and so we've just been in Licata for the past few days. I've been doing a bunch of work, so is Aladino. But now there's a little bit of a window, so we might as well use that to get further. And we've made an agreement that if we see any sort of lightning on the horizon, we're just gonna head to shore and anchor. But for now, we're gonna go to shore, get some pizza, and head out.
Pizza mission. Yep. This is one of those places that even after spending 4 or 5 nights here, doesn't feel like home.
I don't know, I kinda disagree. I think the fact that it's so humble and kind of run down is what makes it feel like home.
Or in your editing cave mostly, that's what you like.
There's these dumpsters. They're overflowing all over the car park. And the smell is just incredible. It's really incredible.
I got a few things.
So we didn't buy any fruits and vegetables at that store because literally every single fresh thing was wrapped up in plastic with a styrofoam container, which we've just spent too much time getting plastic stuck in our propeller and swimming through plastic-ridden beaches to be okay with buying excess plastic. So we're off in search of another store that doesn't needlessly wrap everything in plastic. It's so stupid.
It's the same in every country.
Yeah, it's so common. Yeah, I'll actually show you if we do find a store that doesn't have plastic. We have these cotton bags that we bring with us everywhere, and we put all of our vegetables into those, and so then we don't have to like take the plastic bags that they provide you with. Yeah, these, just like cotton drawstring bags. They're perfect. So anyway, off in search of plastic-free veggies. We walked through the narrow streets, searching for some local produce, and were very happy when we found some. We filled our cotton bags with fruits and vegetables, and Aladino had a friendly conversation with the store proprietor.
I
am so glad that we waited, because not only did we just get all those veggies without having to use any plastic, but the guy over there was so nice. It was just this really cute little corner market, and he gave us this entire bouquet, this bunch of basil for free. He was just like, at the end, Aladino was talking to him a bit, and he was just like, "Would you like a bunch of basil?" But you never say no to that.
Parsley, but I didn't know what to use it on now on the crossing.
But this smells so good now.
That's what I've been missing, because as I recall, the pizza we got last time didn't have basil on it.
I know, it's true.
So basil we can use. We can throw it on our pizza.
Yeah. The next mission was to find 2 pizzas before we returned to Magic Carpet and weighed anchor. We got the pizza! We walked back through the car park, now bathed pink with an evening glow, down the stairs to the dock, back to our dinghy. Alright, time to set off from Licata. Will you miss it?
Oh, not a little bit.
My heart is warm to it. I think that if we stayed here longer, I think there would be parts of it that I would fall in love with. And we are off. The night's passage passed by uneventfully, and as the morning light brightened the horizon, we arrived in Sciacca, another southern Sicilian town.
Welcome to Sciacca. First morning hours, we have just arrived. I am actually very glad that we were able to shake loose the spell of Licata, because well, it wasn't an intentional stop. Yeah, it didn't seem like a window at all, but now that there was one at evening, at night, we still took it. Lately the weather has just been nerve-wracking because there's always lightning surrounding you, and it was the same now. But I've checked all the apps and it always stayed out of our area, and we continued along. The Mistral created actually quite a swell, not that it was rough in any way, but yeah, not that you can sleep comfortably, that's for sure. But I'm glad we're here now, and we might have to stay again 2, 3, 4 nights, who knows, but it keeps blowing.
So we just woke up from a nap to recover from the night of being more or less awake. And now we're going into the harbor. The harbor here is quite cheap in comparison to most harbors around Italy. It's 25 euros a night. So we're gonna stay here for a night or two, fill up with water and electricity, and just rest a bit. And yeah, this is actually the harbor that we wanted to get to at first. But then we pulled into Licata just because of that lightning storm. And so it looks pretty nice here, actually. It looks like it could be a very interesting place to stay. And so we entered the harbor of Sciacca in the sunlight, happy that we had safely navigated through all the trials of the previous week. But to see what we found in Sciacca and where we went after that, you'll have to wait for the next episode. As always, a giant thank you to our patrons without whom these videos wouldn't exist. And an extra big thank you to these folks who go above and beyond in ensuring the future production of these films. See you next week.